Okay, everybody, let's see this one. How the US military weaponized the early internet by Professor Yu- Ying Yang Yang Professor Yang. Let's go.
Let's go to Silicon Valley, okay? Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. How did they become billionaires? Guys, I don't think they're smarter than us. In fact, I don't think they're that smart, okay? Steve Jobs
They're definitely not smart. Definitely.
is a smart guy. I will say Steve Jobs is a really smart guy, but these other guys are pretty normal guys. How do they become billionaires? All right, so Silicon Valley. People say that some
They had some interesting mothers and fathers. I've seen some videos about the parents and all this, them working in the intelligence services. But yeah, let's see this one.
Silicon Valley is a hotbed of innovation. That is complete and utter nonsense. The hotbed of innovation is the American military because they spent billions of dollars on innovation, okay? So these are computers that they developed for war purposes, okay? For the nuclear bomb, to fight World War II, to fight the Cold War. They spent billions of dollars to develop this technology. And then what happened was this technology became smaller and smaller, and so much smaller that Steve Wozniak was able to take this technology and create an own personal computer. Now this is kind of strange because this R&D was funded by the American government. How does one guy, Steve Wozniak, how was he able to take all this knowledge and then go and make his own computer? What did the American military let him? In fact, what's really strange is that while Steve Wozniak was building his own computer, which will become the Apple computer, he was working for Hewlett Packard. In other words, everything he did should have been the IP of Hewlett Packard. And in fact, Steve Wozniak said to his boss, listen, you guys pay me, you guys train me. If you want this PC that I'm going to create, I'm happy to give it to you. And Hewlett Packard said to him, no, keep it for yourself. That's really strange, guys.
Uh-huh. This would be treason.
What corporation is so generous? Why would they do that? Well, there are three good reasons, okay? The first reason is that if the American military were to promote personal computers, every American in the world would say, screw you, okay? You guys are the military. You guys are responsible for the Vietnam War. You guys are responsible for millions of deaths around the world. Why would I take a computer from you knowing that it's from the military? You're gonna use the computer to spy on me, man. You're gonna use this computer to turn me into a robot. There's no way I'm gonna touch this computer. But it's coming from Steve Jobs. That's different, right? Oh, Steve Jobs, he's a visionary. He's messianic. Of course I'll buy this personal computer from Steve Jobs, okay? Second is, at this time in history, America is at war with Soviet Union, okay? Which system is better? Communism or capitalism? And so if you said that, okay, we're the government and we spent billions of dollars to build this technology, that proves that communism is better, right? But if it's like, no, it's these guys working by themselves in Silicon Valley in the garage, they get all these ideas for themselves, that proves capitalism is better, okay? That proves entrepreneurship is better. And the last reason, and this is the most important, is if the US government built this knowledge, right, it belongs to American people. So how do you monetize public knowledge? Well, you create private companies controlled by secret societies. That makes perfect sense, right? And we can now understand all these guys, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, they're front people. They're just poster boys. They're not really in command. It's just societies that's really in control, okay? Sorry. All right. Another example is Google. So the American military spent billions of dollars, trillions of dollars on taxpayer money to build this fiber optic network, which is the base of the internet, okay? Without this fiber optic network, you couldn't have the internet. And then these two guys in their 20s took over this network and created Google. It's the same thing as, the government spends billions of dollars building a highway, okay? And then you come along and say, I'm gonna build a toll booth. Same thing. Why were they allowed to do that? But not only that, but now they're slowly building their own underwater fiber optic network. So they're basically privatizing this network created by the American military. Yes, I understand they're spending their own money to build this network, but it's the American military that spent taxpayer money to do the R&D for all this, okay? That's where the real value is. Mark Zuckerberg, guys. Look, he's not that smart, okay? And look, the other thing is, he was 19 years old, he stole this idea from his Harvard classmates, and then he got billions of dollars from venture capitalists to start Facebook. Where did he get this money? Facebook is not a great idea, right? Social media, great, but I mean, like, I could also start a social media company. You could start a social media company. The other thing is, like, Yahoo at one point offered this guy $1 billion to buy Facebook. We'll give you $1 billion. That's a lot of money, right? I would have taken it, but Mark Zuckerberg's like, nah, I wouldn't know what to do with the money. That's retarded. Why did you start Facebook in the first place but to make money? Okay? So you have these 3 questions. First of all, why are these people giving him money? He's just a 19-year-old guy. He's a Harvard dropout. That's all he is. No experience, nothing. Second question is, if you're someone who's that young and you succeed so much, you would suffer from hubris, from ego. You make a lot of mistakes, right? The guy's never failed in his life. The third thing, of course, is I understand why Amazon, Google, and Apple are successful, okay? Apple has Steve Jobs, Google controls the world search, Amazon controls buying things, right? What does Facebook do? It doesn't do anything, right? So how can we explain why Mark Zuckerberg is so successful? Well, there's actually an explanation. This, guys, okay? It's all part of it's possible, okay? I'm not saying it is true, but it's all part of the grand conspiracy to create an AI surveillance state, which is what Pax Judaica is. This guy, okay?
They look the same.
They look exactly the same. They are the same. They look like clones of each other. No personality, no ideas of their own. They're just robots. How did they become so successful? Right? And ARPANET, guess what, guys? Makes no money, but at the same time, they get trillions of dollars from investors to build data centers. Okay? And these data centers allow you to make really nice pictures and videos online that do nothing. Okay? Why is all this money being spent except one day to create a surveillance state? Okay? That's what makes sense. The idea that these things exist so that you can play on the computer makes no sense. But these things exist in order to one day have complete control over what you do, what you think, and how you behave. That makes sense now, okay? Pax Judaica. All right, Elon Musk, okay? I understand millions of people worship this guy. I don't know how this guy makes money, okay? If you look at Tesla and Facebook, and you came in and says, listen, there are these 2 companies, Facebook and Tesla, would you invest in them? I'd be like, no! Facebook, there's no business model here. I don't understand why people need social media. I don't understand how Mark Zuckerberg, how he's gonna make money in the future. Elon Musk, he gets all his money from government subsidies. Tesla doesn't make any money, man. And the guy's a moron.
That is definitely true. He only survives on government subsidies.
Okay? But Neuralink, okay? Why is he proposing Neuralink? It's part of transhumanism, right? All right. So Jacob Frank, guys, all right? Everything goes back to Jacob Frank. What does Jacob Frank believe? He believes that what matters is, at the end of the world, is the spirit becomes flesh. You understand? The spirit becomes flesh. What matters is not the mind. What matters is matter. Second thing he says is, listen, your laws tell me to fast, to suffer. I don't want that crap. I want to enjoy my life. Okay? And the third thing is, this world cannot have been created by God. It was created by Satan. Because why would God allow us to die? Therefore, we must defy Satan by living forever, okay? Now, if we understand Frank, we understand the idea of transhumanism. Okay? This is a guy with his own bionic eye that records things. This is a guy with his own arm. This is a new trend in the future. What is transhumanism? The capacity to live forever, okay? All right? So, This is the future that we're looking at. If you're a rich person, if you're a powerful person, this is what you will experience. You will experience longevity, health, and beauty. Okay? You will have organ transplants that keep you young. You will have stem cell therapy to repair any cancer, any diseases. You have gene therapy. You have blood transfusion. You have replacement bodies, okay? You will be 20 years old forever. You have great sex. You'll live forever, okay? This is if you are a billionaire. Everyone else? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, first of all, you become a cyborg, where you are now specialized for a certain function, okay? They're gonna put microchips in your body.
Bro, where did this professor, where did he get this from? Damn, bro, this sounds like I don't know, a movie from the 90s with Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
So you can become a better accountant, okay? They'll turn your arms into cyborg, bionic arms, so you can be better construction worker. Who knows, okay? Microchips inside of you, the mark of the beast. What do these microchips do? They are digital ID and digital currency. And guess what, guys? If you're not happy, they'll know about it, and they'll give you drugs to make you happy. If you think this won't happen? They've already have everything in place, okay? Addictive drugs to control mood. Oh, and like if you're lonely, don't worry, man. That's what AI is for. You have an AI girlfriend and boyfriend, and you know what? Most people would prefer an AI boyfriend and girlfriend, okay? Okay? And then it'll be an individual matrix where you live in your own world. So be a World of Warcraft, but in the real world, okay? Where everyone who's your friend, your entire family, it's all just AI generated. Okay? You live in a perfect world. Okay, guys. Now let's look at how Pax Judaica profits. How they control the world. Well, AI surveillance systems and AI data centers, Israel will become a leader in that, okay? Because for AI data centers to be effective, they need to be safe. Everywhere else, there's going to be wars, right? Not Israel, because Israel has nuclear weapons. So all the major technology companies will be based in Israel in the future. Weaponry security, private militias to protect you if you're at war. Bioweapons and biowarfare, psychological and information warfare. Israel is really good at that. Intelligence, espionage, and sabotage. Mossad is the world's best intelligence agency. Financing, okay? So if you want to go to war, you'll be financed by the Israelis. Trade access, transhumanism for the global elite, okay? This is how, in the future, they will control the world. Does that make sense? All right. But we don't know how much of the world will last because of something called the magnetic pole excursion, and this will usher in something called the mini ice age.
Bro.
Okay? So maybe God is not...
Bro, where did this bro went? Bro, pole shifting. Damn, bro, next level.
happy with Pax Judaica. Maybe we know no one can defeat Pax Judaica.
It's conspiracies on conspiracies. Not conspiracy like that, but damn, bro. It's doomsday on doomsday.
Except God himself. And maybe God will intervene, but not in the way that it says in the Bible. Okay? We don't know. This is all speculation. Believe whatever you want. Okay? So, any questions? Does this make sense to you guys? Pax Judaica, welcome to the future.
Bro, this professor is a Christian professor. What just happened? Brother, you confused me. But yeah, definitely the military and all that is true. The parents working in intelligence services, look it up. So yeah, with all this chips in the brain and all this, bro, forget about it. Forget about it, bro.